Okay, welcome everybody to It's Worth a Shot. Let's go to the next slide. So we did have a third-party presenter today, but they had something come up, so we'll explain a little bit more later. But just want to let you know that the presentation is not, if it contains information, we just want to let you guys know that it's not something that we supply or that we endorse or is recommended by Mountain Pacific. But we just like to have a variety of opinions and things on here, so that's why we've got that there. Next slide. All right, we got a couple slides of updates going on here. So I'm sure, as you guys are aware, there's the May 15th deadline for some reporting into the NHSN. And so you guys want to go ahead and check that out, make sure that you're aware or that you guys are on track for reporting and meeting the deadline. And also there was a call scheduled for the CMS long-term care and support open door forum was rescheduled to May 7th now. I can't remember what date it actually was on, but they rescheduled it for Tuesday, May 7th. And so if you haven't registered, you can go ahead and use that link and do that, or you might want to go back over and check on your calendar. Mine did not automatically update to change it to the 7th. So you guys might want to check your calendars and make sure if you are registered for that, that it does say May 7th. Next slide, please. And there is another NHSN training. I believe that this is, yep, it's on the antimicrobial use and resistance. It's put on by NHSN. It'll be on May 8th. And then we just wanted to kind of highlight that Erica Baldry just put out a Montana Infection Prevention one-on-one course development. And it is Montana based. We do want to let you know, if you want to check it out, there's the link to it. We did share it with our infection control people with the state in Alaska, Hawaii, and Wyoming to see if maybe they want to collaborate and do something similar within our states for the educational training that she has there for the infection prevention. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. And if you're not in Montana, then we just want to let you know that we did pass that information along, and maybe we can see something like that for our own states. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry about that, my dog. Housekeeping. Just want to make sure that you guys put topics that you want us to present on in chat or fill out the survey and let us know. We do appreciate when people let us know what is important to them or what they'd like to learn more about, because we do like it when we're able to gear these towards you guys. And then again, we meet every Wednesday, so hope we see you. We do have a polling question. Mary, do you want to go ahead and populate that? All right, do you involve patient, residents, and family in emergency preparedness planning and drills? That's a yes or no. Okay, looks like we've got more no than yeses. We can go ahead and close that out, Mary. Publish it. Okay, now we can go to the next slide. So for our weekly COVID snapshot, looks like everything is trending down. Hawaii and Alaska are looking very green, so substantial decrease. We do have a couple hot spots in our other states, but nothing really significant, which is great, and just kind of goes to show that it looks like this is going to be something that's seasonal, kind of like the flu. So hopefully I don't just jinx us and we have a huge outbreak in the middle of the summer now because I said that. But anyways, let's move on. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to hand this over to Mountain Pacific's Jamie Kuhn, and we will talk about Mountain Pacific blogs today.
Hi, like Miranda said, I am Jamie Keene. I am a Mountain Pacific account manager out of Montana. And Mary, next slide. As you all probably know, our website is full of hidden treasures. One of those is that we have a blog, and there's actually quite a few different ones that we have. Some you can just get into, and some you actually subscribe to see multiple upcoming and previous ones. Mary, next slide. So if you go to our main Mountain Pacific website, up on the top banner, there's a spot that says blogs. If you click on that, that will take you to the page where you can choose between the multiple different topics that we cover. Next slide, Mary. Again, like I said, some you'll be able to just get into the blogs, current and archived ones, and other ones you'll have to subscribe to. Kind of like a lot of our resources, it's just for tracking and to make sure that you are only getting the ones that you are wanting. Next slide. The one that we are really excited for, though, is the healthy living one. It covers topics like smoking cessation, reducing the risk of dementia, high blood pressure and stroke, pain, and during the winter, we even covered winter blues and what to do about it. We're also starting to showcase some of the wonderful work of our partners. Next slide, Mary. And this gets into, we were supposed to have Miss Cheryl Lowe from the Brendan House in Kalispell, Montana, as our speaker today, but she had a family emergency and is not going to be able to make it. So next slide. Cheryl has been with Brendan House for 36 years, and she has her sidekicks, Abba and Emma, excuse me, that are the facility's therapy dogs. And we did cover her in one of our recent blogs. So I'm going to copy the link and put it in chat if anybody would want to check that out and read up on her. Next slide, Mary. So a part of what Cheryl does is she is the activities director, but she makes sure that there is a warm and holistic caring environment throughout the activities, that all of the residents' needs are met, whether they're physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual, and the entire team. So the entire staff from all of the apartments are incredibly supportive, and they have a great program using FaceTime and Zoom to keep the residents and families connected, along with making sure that everyone gets to interact with those pups of hers as well. So next slide. So they, along with normal group activities during infection outbreaks, she still makes sure that those residents are taken care of. They actually modified Botch It to a Boshi ball, and I've seen the aftermath of this game in their facility, and everyone is in their activity room. Everyone is involved, and apparently many of their residents are very competitive, and it gets kind of chaotic in that facility. They also pair with a local DJ for monthly karaoke sessions. And then not listed on here, I would like to also spotlight that the Brendan House, Cheryl and I are working on a pilot program with a community partner to include high or at-risk youth in with the facility activities to start building that intergenerational support again and get those relationships going within the community. Next slide. So they utilize their family members and volunteers for all celebrations, whether it is regular holidays, birthdays, or any other religious holiday, not religious and non-religious holiday, excuse me. They have recently had a member of the community come in and do a Native American smudging ceremony. They've also connected with Jewish residents to build a local support system. And Cheryl is always interested in bringing new experiences into her residents. Next slide. And because of those new experiences, she is able to empower a resident-centered culture. So they are focusing not only on the large group activities like their Boshi Ball, but they also look towards individualized and small group activities that are tailored specific to the needs of that facility and their residents. So next slide.
Okay, so
Now-
I'm going to come off mute here and I'll be joining Jamie. And this next portion is going to be kind of interactive. So we just have some questions up here. And we're hoping some people will come off chat and kind of share ideas about activities and different engagement pieces that they might have going on in their facilities. And we're hoping some people might take away some stuff or we might learn some stuff. So the first question is, what resident engagement ideas do you have?
Our residents have been starting to play golf and bowling, but we're not on outbreak. I don't know if that was part of this scenario or not.
Nope, it's not that. So do you guys do that in a activity room, or do you do bowling down the hallways?
It is not down the hallways. That would be interesting. But it is in like the main dining room area. So they have a lot of space.
Does anybody else have some suggestions that they can share? I did hear from one facility that they do scavenger hunts, so that way they can involve some of their less mobile people as a clue holder or, stuff like that. And then the more mobile can go from like room to room or, try and kind of find things / solve puzzles and then move on to the next event. So I thought that was something fun to share.
And then Michael, I see a question from you on Boshi Ball. I am not sure. I did not get to experience the game itself. That is on my list of things to interact with the facility on, but it sounds like it's a version of Botch It, if you're familiar with that.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. So, we have a pretty culturally diverse section of the states, with Mountain Pacific being in Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, Hawaii, Guam, the North Mariana Islands, and American Samoa. So we obviously have a lot of culture within our areas. So how do you make activities culturally diverse? Is that something people focus on? Is that something that you're trying to do better at? Or does anybody have anything they want to share or suggest? I do know that in Alaska, they've been able to get some dispensation so they can actually serve Alaska Native food types. I believe we had a presentation on that here at some point in time, but they were actually able to serve the whale and different things like that. But it's very particularized, like it has to be in a specialized kitchen that they have to prepare it, and they have specific hunters that are able to donate the food. So does anybody else have anything else?
That's really cool. Our population in our nursing home is old Caucasian farmer. So we have not had anyone ever talk about culture. Anytime we serve like saffron rice, for example, people are like, what is this? Why are we eating this?
Or meat and potato crowd.
Exactly.
So we had another idea where for stuff like this, did anybody remember when you were in like kindergarten and stuff like that, and you'd have like show and tell, or you'd talk about what you did on summer break and stuff like that. So a neat idea would be is to try and incorporate where, it's something from the residents' culture. Like, if they had a, let's see, like a tradition that they did with their family. It doesn't necessarily have to be cultural based, but if they had a tradition that they would do in their family, that maybe the activities directors can kind of work with that specific resident, and then they get to present during that activities, what the culture was or what the event was or the tradition, what it meant to them, and then kind of maybe do an activity around that tradition. And so then, the other residents kind of get to know each other a bit more. And then also it kind of, helps people get out of their bubble with, public speaking or, whatnot. But then it also kind of takes the pressure off trying to think up stuff all the time. So if you had a sign up sheet and see if some of the residents want to potentially share something from their past or their history, like a show and tell type thing, then you could implement that.
Yeah. Mary, next slide. We also are wanting to know, how do you use technology to engage with your residents? We have quite a few, like Cheryl had stated in her blog, they use FaceTime with their family members that are not local, so the residents can still engage. And then Miranda, I think you had talked about tech time in one of your facilities.
Yeah, so we actually had the suggestion that there was a facility that uses high school slash tech type kids, and they'll come in and do a kind of like a see and learn session with like the residents. So if they need help using their iPads, or if they want to learn about just different technologies, like if they're not very apt at their phones, if it's a smartphone, that they actually have a kid that will come in and dedicate time to show them how to use stuff, or how to stay current on maybe how to hook up wireless headphones, or different things like that, to kind of just help them be more self-sufficient with some of the technology that they have. And also it's, partnering with those in the neighbor or in the communities, that can come in and help out with that. I see somebody suggested Wii games. That's always fun too. Yep. Words with Friends was actually kind of an interesting one. I was talking to the group and I said, I used to play like with my ex-boyfriend's mother and different stuff like that. And so that kind of got us thinking, like, what if we had like facilities sign up, like say some facilities in Alaska want to partner with some facilities in Montana, and if they have a sign up of people that play Word with Friends, or a game that's kind of like a back and forth, and then we can kind of pair people almost like pen pals, but it would be actually playing games that are appropriate, like on their phones, or using technology to kind of do that. And we could also do kind of like a pen pal thing with FaceTime, like if you want to do FaceTime with people that you just wouldn't normally meet, you just kind of want to branch out, we could potentially set something up like that too, where you're not just calling people all the time, because we all know people like to socialize and they can only tell the same stories with the same people so often. So it's nice to meet new people so you can repeat your stories and not bore people. So, but that was just a suggestion as well.
If that is something you think your facilities would be interested in, definitely reach out to your account manager and we can make that happen. Next slide. So like I had said, in the Flathead Valley, I am working on a pilot program that is going to be engaging high-risk youth into the activities with a couple of facilities. So one example of that is the residents of these facilities have a garden that everyone manages their own little section, and they are excited to teach these teenagers how to garden or how to play games like cribbage and just the things that probably many of us grew up doing with our parents or grandparents that these kids probably have not had a chance to do. Angela, I see your hand is raised. What question do you have?
Oh, I don't actually have a question. I was just going to answer.
Okay.
I was just going to wait my turn. We actually, so like when there's prom or graduation, we have them walk through in their dresses and tuxedos to show off and come in and take pictures. And because a lot of people are related, but our residents don't necessarily remember that they are. So they get a chance to come through and show off their dresses. And then we do kid therapy. And we'll have like elementary school come in and they'll like pick a reading buddy and read books to our residents, and like go out and like they each get to plant something with someone. So that's what we do.
I like that prom idea. that sounds like it'd be something fun too for like graduations that are, like the high school graduations where they can parade through on their with their caps and gowns and things like that too, where it can involve everybody. That's
Yeah.
a
And
great idea.
they go to like all the little ballet recitals, but we're really small community, so they can go to all those things. But yeah, they'll go to all the plays for the schools and all that kind of stuff.
Fun.
Yeah.
Angela, what facility are you on? Or are you
I'm
with?
in
Excuse me.
the little island of Wrangell in Alaska.
Yep, that would be small.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we're tiny. So like, the community, they get to go and do
Tiny but
everything.
mighty.
So yeah, it's very involved and they get to be engaged and it's really nice.
Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Any ideas or success stories or anything like that?
This is Pamela in Ketchikan, and one of the things that our residents really enjoy that we had to kind of alter the way we do it is we have a picnic with other assisted livings and pioneer homes here in the community out at the lake during the summer, and that gives our long-term care residents an opportunity to see residents that have graduated from long-term care and moved on to other assisted living facilities in the community.
That's nice. That's fun.
Yeah. So we do a big barbecue and they play games and have treasure hunts, and yeah, they enjoy it.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, Mary, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so this one, we were just kind of trying to throw out ideas there that we thought, because we do have, with Mountain Pacific being in so many different states, and we got a nice pool to pull from, that, the pen pal idea was another, something we thought was neat, that, some people, especially in that generation, are still more, letter writers. They're snail mail, type people. And so we're wondering if it would be fun to maybe set up a program where you have pen pals from different states, and again, it could be email, it could be FaceTime calls. It doesn't necessarily have to be pen pals, but that is a generational thing that people really appreciate, getting actual, letters to read and stuff. So we thought if that was something people would be interested in, to go ahead and contact us, and we can kind of see if we can pool some facilities to join that, and then just kind of engage the residents. But does anybody else have any ideas where you could, kind of have sister facilities or, partner facilities where you could do stuff like that? Maybe possibly start like a book club where, it's actually a Zoom meeting where people read the books, and then you'd have a Zoom of everybody to kind of discuss it. So it's not just necessarily those within the facility, it could be the people that just really enjoy reading.
Miranda, this is Jolene. Just wanted to share my past experience in nursing home. We did pen pal programs across the world. We would seek out schools in the Boston area, or the majority of our residents were of Japanese ancestry, so we would seek out schools in Japan. And part of the multi-generational pen pal program, schools would participate and with our residents, and they would reciprocate. So that was really cool, being able to cross the world and look at different cultures and get kids involvement in writing, and they would draw pictures, and so it was just a really nice event that we did every year.
Fun. Does anybody else have any ideas of, besides just pen pals, kind of activities that you can do that would involve other facilities or other, partner type things that that are interactive, I guess, basically? I mean, I know I've seen, I mean, this isn't necessarily to just nursing homes or facilities, but I've seen things where like somebody will start drawing a picture or do some kind of art, and then it gets passed on to somebody else and they do some more art on it, and then it gets passed on to somebody else and they, you know, add to it. And so then, you know, however many people add to it. And then at the end you have like a finished product where it's just a bunch of different people's ideas and thoughts, or, you know, art combined together to make one piece. And then you can kind of see the final product. And then, you know, again, if it's a piece of art, then it can just kind of, you know, go back and forth to all the different people's rooms or facilities that they're in. But, you know, something like that is
I've
always
seen
fun.
I've seen that with stories and poetry as well.
Yep. Okay, we can go to the next slide. I'll kick this one back to you, Jamie.
Okay. So if any of you would be interested in having your facility be featured in one of our upcoming blog posts, it does not have to be activities directors. We would love to hear about your dietary services or your environmental services. Or even if you have a director of nursing that is just fantastic, we want to hear about it. We want to be able to spotlight all of the great work that you and your teams do. Or if there's any other topics that you would like us to spotlight, definitely let us know. We want to hear from you. Please join us, though, on June 26th. We will be having an activity enrichment in long-term care with Heidi Caldwell out of Hawaii on our It's Worth a Shot for that day.
We thought some of the ideas that we discussed here, we might kind of punch to her and she can see if she fully develops or if she has anything else, you know, that she wanted to add to. But we just thought that that one kind of piggybacks off what we're talking about today. Go to the next slide. Does anybody have any questions? It doesn't necessarily have to be about our presentation that we did today, but just any questions that you would like to bounce off of the audience that we have here. Is a pretty good good crowd. Looks like we're sitting at 34. Is there anything that's come up or that you guys have questions about or that you would like some guidance on? Feel free to come off mute.
If you're unable to come off mute, you can always put those questions in the evaluation. If you follow the link that Mary put on in the chat, we can get that handled as well.
No questions? Okay, we can go to the next slide. So thanks for joining us for It's Worth a Shot this go around. Looks like we'll get you a couple minutes back. Again, sorry about my dog Bernie. He thinks that he needs to be featured on everything I do. Next week on May 8th, we actually are going to have Matthew Thomas from the State Survey Agency in Alaska, and he is going to be presenting on visitors. I believe the topic he has is visitor issues, so like belligerent visitors and drugs and other things like that. So he'll be giving that presentation next Wednesday. So do please join us for that. And hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.